That car doesn't have a value to me. You can offer me $1 billion, I'm not taking it. But what was priceless was the trust and care that you guys gave to my car to give back to me.
Arthur, it is so great to finally meet you here in person. Thank you so much for having us at LifeVac today. We can't wait to hear about your story.
Well, the story is a combination of faith. My dad was my idol. He was an engineer. He put a man on the moon. He taught me everything I know, taught me integrity. And that's why the car meant so much to me, because of the connection to him and his ability to see the future, to help do the impossible by putting a man on the moon, made me grow up knowing I could do anything.
So what is the story behind the car?
When my dad and my mom got married, they went over to Germany and he bought a 190 SL. And my dad was very frugal and smart. So he bought the car, they drove it on their honeymoon all through Europe. He shipped it back. And when he got back here, he was ready to start a family. So he had to sell it and he bought it our house and that I grew up in. When I was about 16, I had heard that story many times. And my dad said, boy, it'd be kind of neat to have that car again. So he and I went around and we looked at a whole bunch. And he finally picked the one that you guys restored for me. So that was in our family for 44 years. And towards the end of his life, he would, when I was young, he would take me for rides. And as is our duty, at the end, I took him for a ride. And it gave him a lot of joy because it was not a lot he could still do. And I was able to ride with him and my daughter in his car. And the car to me is a connection to this whole life, from getting married to starting a family to getting back in his life and sharing that with me. And I had the blessing to share it with my daughter.
How do you feel like when you drive the car?
I actually have been sitting just looking at it. When I drive it, I do feel connected to him. I feel connected in a good way. Loss is tough. You're sad. But we have to persevere to say, I don't want to think of the bad, I want to think of the good. So when I sit and look at it or we ride in it, I feel connected to him in the sense of we all will go, but I'm grateful for everything he gave me. And since that car was from before I was born, the 190 SL in our family, to today, and someday now, with the amazing job of it being restored, my daughter will get the car.
It sounds like you're very happy.
It's happy is almost beyond it. When when this came up and we found you guys, it was a leap of faith, right? That's what life is about. You got to take a chance. And it was scary, mostly because it was so precious to me, It's turning over something from my family, it's turning over my heart. My dad was gone, so it was everything in that connection. And so it's scary. And I'm so grateful of how great it did turn out. I'm so grateful that I did it. I'm so grateful I did it with you guys. You'll see later, I sit in my garage, I just stare at it. And I think of the teamwork, my team, my guys that helped me, you and your team, coming together to make a memory for my daughter and her kids, and hopefully their kids. Like, I was doing a little math, and my little brain says she's 80 years old watching her son drive off in the car, and that car will be in our family for 100 years.
Tell us about LifeVac.
LifeVac is just a simple suction rescue device that I invented 11 years ago after I heard of a child the same age as my daughter who choked to death. Choking is the leading cause of accidental death in children. A 7-year-old that died, and I didn't want her to die. I researched and practiced and did prototypes, and we came up with a simple plunger. You push it, you pull it, it sucks out what's killing you. And all these people are alive because of it.
So your dad was your biggest inspiration for the whole legacy you built?
He was an engineer, and I grew up as a hands-on person. We fixed our own house, we fixed our own cars, we redid anything we had to do, and he was a very smart man. I mean, he basically was a rocket scientist for all intents and purposes. But, he was my dad. But when I started this, he was very supportive, and he always was. And he was willing to help and share his expertise. But I think what he really did that helped create this was instill the ability that you can do anything. Take your hands, get in there, start figuring it out. And I think that's the biggest legacy that connected him to all these lives saved.
Is there a message you would like to share with our audience before we leave you for today?
I guess sitting here and with all this emotion in me, I hope that anyone that is contemplating this, anyone who has a legacy car, anyone who has a connection to a loved one that can get their car to you should do it, because it's priceless. It really is. Few things in life are. That car doesn't have a value to me. You can offer me $1 billion, I'm not taking it. But what was priceless was the trust and care that you guys gave to my car to give back to me. So my hope is if people are thinking about it, they should do it, because they will never regret it. You guys were amazing, did a great job, understood the passion behind it, and did everything you said you would do. And it will be with me forever.